what happens when you grow old in America and you're poor. So that's what we're going to talk about today. This is a really big, important topic, especially for me. I've dealt with the poor most of my life in some fashion, and I'm not far from it myself. So we're going to look at, first of all, let's look at the problem, because we've got, like we've talked about in other videos, you've got this huge tsunami coming of everybody getting over 65 in the next 5 years. All the baby boomers will be over 65. Nursing homes, if that is what you're looking at anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 a month or more. Assisted livings, they've got 4 to 6 written down. I mean, I just have never seen a $4,000 one. So you're looking at least 6 to 10. If you have home care, which we talked about in the last video too, $25, $30 an hour is what should happen, not $10 an hour, if you want good care. So the Social Security national average is $1,900.76 a month. So there's some making way less than that and some making more than that, obviously. I watched a YouTube video yesterday on homelessness in the elderly population, and it broke my heart because there's about 50,000 homeless seniors that's 65 and over in America now. And in less than 5 years, they're estimating it's going to be about 106,000 homeless. Now, you say, oh, there's plenty of options out there. So that's what we're going to look at in a minute. But first of all, just so you understand what Medicare covers and Medicaid covers and that kind of thing. So first of all, Medicare does not cover nursing home care except for 100 days out of the hospital for therapy. That's what you get. Medicaid, you've got to get rid of everything. And I want to, so if you don't understand how this works and you possibly think you're going to need care in the next 5 years or more, this is what you need to do. First of all, if you have a house, you need to take it out of your name and put it in your children's name or a friend's name, anybody. And I know that's, we all don't want to do that, and you don't want to think about what's going to happen in the next 5 years. But they're going to make you sell that anyway, and all of it, you got to spend down every dime that you have in order to get Medicaid. So if you have a house and you put it in somebody else's name within 5 years, then you can still keep your house. Any other assets you have, they have to be gone in order to get Medicaid. And then when you do get Medicaid and you're put in a home, then you're going to get $30 a month back to live on. Yes, I know everything's covered in a nursing home, but and I'm just talking from, my heart. The last nursing home that I've worked at in New Orleans, so many of them they're not even that old, and they didn't have anywhere to go, and they're on Medicaid, and they smoke, and they, yes, you can tell them to quit smoking, but everything is not black and white. The world is not black and white. The older I get, the more that is true. But that's what they have. They have a roof over their head. They have food in their stomach, and they're off the street. Yes. My thing is, if you're alive, if I'm here and I'm alive, I want to live. I want to be able to live to the best of my ability. And that's, every human being should have that option. And homeless, if that's what they want, I guess that's okay. But all of these homeless people over 60, there was an 80-year-old little Oriental woman that had been homeless for the past couple of years because she and her sister were splitting costs in an apartment, and then her sister got dementia and had to go into the nursing home, and she had nowhere to go. So you're living on the street. All right. So what happens? We've got, like I said, the poor people end up in low-quality nursing homes that'll accept the Medicare. And if, let's just say you've got family, okay? Not, there again, just because you have family doesn't mean everybody wants to live with family, or that family is capable of taking care of everything. But if they're trying, everybody eventually reaches their financial limit. I've known of families that have paid in-home care round the clock for several years. The amount of that is staggering, more than a nursing home, but it was better for that person to stay home. Okay. And that family had that to do that. Okay. Every family does not. And the majority of Americans, that live paycheck to paycheck, and those are just not viable solutions in the future. How are we going to take care of ourselves? So what are we going to do? I've been thinking about this and doing some research. And of course, like I said, this has been my last video on our options, some different options to do that take time and money. And I always have lots of ideas that take time and money. But you've got the wealthy. The wealthy always has choices. They can stay home and hire whoever they want. They can go to expensive assisted livings. Whatever. They have choices. And I'm not blaming them. I mean, they were smart, or they had money handed down, whatever reason, they have money. Okay? Poor people do not have choices. And that, it's even in the job that I have now. I'm noticing that, so much more. I had a ministry in Tennessee for the poor, and yes, they can go to school. Yes, they can do this. Yes, they can do that. But there's so many barriers that are thrown in front of them about, how to get things done, and how can they go back to school when they've got to do this and this and this and this. I mean, yes, some of them are excuses, okay, but there really are barriers that the rich people do not have, that poor people do have. And the middle class, there again, that's such a broad term, and you've got lower middle class and you've got upper middle class that are closer to the rich, and all of this, it's just crazy. But I think so many in the middle are at risk of falling into poverty, depending on if you have to take care of somebody else or if yourself falls into that category. So we've got a big problem that's coming our way. I wish I could solve it. I really do. And in my heart, I've been planning all these things for the seniors that I know that could benefit from housing. And I'm still working on it because it's not that simple here. But anyway, so I've been Googling some stuff too and looking, what are the solutions for the poor? That's what we're talking about right now. Okay. Section 8 and Section 202, which is for the elderly. First of all, those are fine if you can get that done. You've got long wait lists, especially in New Orleans. I bet we have 25, at least 25 of those, tall, old buildings that were probably built in the 60s for affordable senior housing. And the wait lists are 5 years or 10 years, depending. I mean, you may not have 5 or 10 years. So that's the other thing. If you think you're going to need that kind of care, or you're going to be there, go and put yourself on a wait list. Okay? Because you don't know how long it's going to take. And then you've got the kind of housing that I'm talking about. You know, somebody buys a house, and you, depending on the size of the house, then you can let 4, 5, 6 people live there and pay a flat fee for, you know, the mortgage, the electric, the water, the internet, whatever. And they all kind of live together, maybe hopefully have their own room. I know that's a new thing. If you do need care and you need to go to a nursing home, of course, Medicaid is definitely a viable option, because, you know, I don't know how long we'll have Medicaid, but for as long as we have it, you know, you need to take advantage of that. If you can live with $30 a month. There are some places I just looked up. I don't know these places, but, you know, if you're in a state where these are available, Volunteers of America, Good Samaritan Society, which is Lutheran, so it said you had to be Lutheran and you had to prove your income. They have places, and it's one place called the Human Good, which is only in 5 states. So if you're in Delaware, Pennsylvania, Washington, Oregon, or California, those are some options. Okay, get a roommate. I know, like back in college, let's do it that way again. You know, so when you get old and you can need a roommate. So those are some options. I mean, I don't know a solution, but I know that we need to find one together. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. I just know that in the next couple of years, it's going to get worse, and that we've got to provide a way for people to live to the best of their abilities while they still are here. Because if we don't solve this, it's going to hurt all of us. And you deserve better, and your loved one deserves better. So let's figure it out together.